Okay,
We're coming back from commercial break,
You have a question?
Back from commercial break.
but feel free to chime in with the question.
Okay, where were we up to?
Right at the flood.
Are
Yes.
you ready?
Yes, ready. Go.
Okay, so you were telling me, so Sam disappeared, Sam the dog,
Right.
and then you put an ad in the paper, and how did Sam come back? How did you get him back?
I got the phone call one morning. It says
But
here,
didn't you think he was at the bottom of the pool?
no, because we
No.
had the pool already drained by
Oh,
that
okay.
time. We had it drained and we
He hated
cleaned
the
it
pool. He
up
wouldn't
because the
go near it.
pool was loaded with 2 feet of sand.
Right.
Because we just had all the fancy work done on the lawn. We had a really fancy work done on the lawn because it was all rocks back there. They cleaned it all up there and they put the fertilizer, everything on it. They put the seeds for the grass. It was only in like a week when we lost all of that there. All that fertilizer, everything, all in the pool. Plus Johnny's house, one window, the sliding door, broke right
So it was a bad flood. I mean, there
it
was a
was
lot
a
of
bad
damage.
flood.
It was, yeah.
As a matter of fact, we made the newspaper and everything.
Right.
And so anyway, Sammy was gone for a week, and I got the phone call one morning. Says, I got a dog here that answers your descriptions and answers to the name of Sam.
And how far away was
It
it?
was only about 6 or 7 blocks away, short
But
blocks.
they were,
And I went through that block every day, at least 5 times, slowly blowing the horn and yelling out, Sammy, Sammy, Sammy. But never heard of it. He was in the back of this guy's house, just sitting there. The poor kid looked, he says, he looked like he was mourning. Sammy.
So did you go get him then?
I went to go get him. As soon as I pulled up in the guy's driveway and I called out Sammy, he come running into me and he come kissing me and everything else. And then he ran in the car, which he never did. I used to have to drag him in the car. He hated the car. But he was so happy to get in the car because he was so happy.
It's like
to
a
see me.
lassie.
Yeah.
It was really
It
nice.
was.
It was really nice feeling.
Oh, that's
Okay.
good.
So we had a lot of joy and a little hard times in Vegas, but it was a lot of joy. especially
Now, what's
with
the rattlesnake story?
Well, my wife knows that story better than me.
Well, speak, Lil.
well, speak. I really don't remember that.
Quiet in the audience.
Okay, we had the mailbox.
have
I
to
could help
think.
her out.
My brain,
I'll help her
I'm
out.
84 years old, but my brain is 100 years old.
I'll help her out anyway. The mailbox. She went to get the mail, and the mailbox it was in front of the house, almost.
Now, this is on Montessori, right? Same house.
Right. We were only living there about 2 years at the time. She went to get the
Was
mail.
this after another flood, though?
It might have
happened after
Oh, I
another
think
flood.
it
We
happened
had a
after the
couple
flood. How did that have to
I was
do?
gonna
No,
say-
that was right after the flood. Not too
yeah.
long. That's why I said we were only there about 2 years.
I like everything was in a
But-
mess.
It was a little mess back there. But anyway, we went to the mailbox, and she seen the rattlesnake. And I remember.
I was-
She was scared that it might hit Sammy or something. And then she was scared because the kids, they were worried about
But it was, Michelle always came to the house.
Oh, Michelle was
So,
born, so
yeah.
how to be fun.
Yeah, so it was,
Oh.
it was a while after.
Yeah, and our
yeah.
neighbor next door looked at it, and he says, that's a dangerous rattlesnake.
Yeah,
He says, one bite and you're dead.
but because, what's
So the
her
rattlesnake
name? What
was in the mailbox.
No,
No,
it was on
it
the
was
foot of the
on the
mailbox.
Oh, okay.
He was
Where you would go right
like
up to
this.
it.
And I was afraid Michelle might come out, because any place I was, there was Michelle. But what was the
Man next
maid's
door.
na-
I
Thelma.
don't remember his name.
Bella.
Thelma.
So she ran out because she was worried about Jamie, Michelle, because she knew I was busy in the front with the mail. So she comes out with Michelle in her arms, and then the snake started to go towards me. So I don't know how I picked him up.
No, didn't you have a broom or shovel?
I
Oh, I hit him
remember
with the
a broom,
broom.
yeah.
Yeah, I
With the
hit him
broom.
with the broom, and bing bang boom, and I
She
threw
killed
him in the lot across
Across the street, empty
yeah.
lot, she just threw him in there.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, Michelle was born. See, I thought it was after another flood. We had
No,
like
it wasn't.
2 or 3
Michelle was
floods.
That was, yeah, but that one was.
Michelle was
John, wasn't there a
Michelle was
second
about 2
flood?
years old.
Yeah, there was about 3.
That's what
Yeah.
I seem
Yeah,
to remember.
we always-
3 floods.
Anytime it
First one
rained, we
was
used
the
to
worst.
shake.
Right, yeah.
Oh, we
And
did
I
have
think
another
that's why
flood.
you had the rattlesnake
We did have
there,
another
because
flood.
it was
One
really
time, it rained hard, and I seen it was coming down. I was off that day, I wasn't working. And I seen the rain come down, we had a big shower. I said, I better get home because I know she'd be scared stiff. So I got home, and I couldn't even get to the house. I parked about 3 blocks away from the house, and I had to walk to get to the house because there was so much water. And I did fall into another big hole. And I sprained my ankle. And what happened the next day, we went to Mount Charleston, and I couldn't even walk. And it was a horrible day. But thank God.
I
everything was
remember
fine.
one flood
Those are the
when,
bad parts. Where I got
I
hit
think
by lightning.
the kids, us kids all went to the Burkhart's house. I seem to remember Paul coming to pick all of us kids
Yes,
up
you're right.
because it was another flood.
Yeah.
So
That's like-
we all
That would be the first flood. Jamie was
No. It was one where,
I told you we had three. I don't know.
yeah, it
three
would
or
have been the
four.
second or the third.
Yeah, could
Paul
be.
came to pick us
It
kids
could
up
be,
because I was older.
After the bad experience, she shaked anytime it rained, and I used to love it to rain because we never got rain.
But your mother and father stayed with us.
I don't remember. I seem to remember one of the floods
Yeah.
getting it being loaded into Uncle Paul's old
Yeah. I
remember
truck
now that you
and
said that,
having
yeah.
him come to pick us up. Probably
Now, speaking of natural disasters, since actually once you moved to Vegas, a lot of horrible things happened, one right after the other. The grandkids were born. No, okay. What about the fires?
MGM.
Oh, that when I was working, that happened to me at the Hilton.
Right, I forgot
At the
all
Hilton,
about
yeah, that time, and it happened.
So
in
where
the-
were you working?
I was working at the Hilton, and I was working swing, and that happened about 7 o'clock in the evening. And they come in, everybody leave the hotel, they come to the butcher, everybody's gotta leave the hotel, there's a fire. We couldn't even believe it, we had to leave everything, I had meat all over the place, and I had to go out with my coat and apron full of blood and all that junk.
What
And
time
so-
of the year was that? Do you remember?
It was 7 o'clock in the evening, because I worked swing, 4 to
But
12.
was it winter or summer? I don't remember.
I got a feeling, I don't remember being cold or anything,
Might have
but I
been
had a butcher's
fall.
jacket on and
Yeah.
apron. But I would say it's either spring or fall, I don't
And
remember.
how bad? The fire was pretty bad.
Fire was bad, as a matter of fact, there was about 8 people killed in the fire, and a lot of, but,
Where did it
and they
start?
closed the Hilton down for about a week, so I didn't work for a week.
Okay. Now that was after the MGM fire. That came
The
first.
Hilton's for, after the MGM?
Because
I thought-
MGM was 1980.
Because I was worried.
Oh, the MGM is where,
I heard it.
where Tony was working.
Or 81,
You think
yeah.
81 was the Hilton?
I thought the Hilton was, I guess I'm,
Hilton was just months later.
I would say like 6 or 7 months
it
after
wasn't
the
long,
MGM.
it wasn't
yeah.
long, they're both of them together.
Because the Hilton was your
I
first
think
job.
the MGM was worse than the Hilton's fire.
Yes.
Now speaking about jobs, what other Lily? You worked while you were here.
Yeah, I don't know
What?
what I did.
You had a lot of jobs.
No, she didn't.
Yes, she
She
did.
didn't have not even one job.
Do I have to remind you about your cleaning business?
That was not working.
Well, tell me about it.
You're talking about a week or two that we cleaned up, and that's it. Johnny's doing a construction job on apartments, and after they did all the painting and they put the rugs in, and we had to go in and clean. We cleaned the bathrooms up and the sinks up and stuff like that.
Just you and Grandma together?
Yeah, and
Wow.
but you know it's funny. We had plenty of time to do it. We couldn't do. We had to do it slowly. Then all of a sudden, he said, "We're going to open up next week," and all of a sudden, two people could never finish the job. I forget how many it was apartments, maybe about 50. Before you know it, we had to get about 6 or 7 more people. As a matter of fact, I got Johnny's wife, Regina, came over there. She was good. I didn't have to pay her. But I paid my sister Annie, Tony's wife, I had to pay her. And I had a lot of people. My sister Flora had a lot of friends in here in town. And they volunteered to work for free. And they came. They cleaned sinks and a lot of, my sister Flora came there.
It was
She got-
hard work.
Yeah, she
Oh,
got
yeah.
about, we had to wash all the windows and everything.
Yeah.
And before we washed the windows, we had to scrape the paint that was on them. It was, we
Now,
did,
your son John
we did a
made you
very
do
good
this.
job.
Yes, we had
Well, we had to do it.
You would
We,
have thrown
we
up
knew the
the
construction,
family
we were
house.
hired not from John, from the construction company that,
Right.
that built them.
Was
And
that
we had
your
to do-
idea, Dad, to try and
No, it was
start another
Regina,
business?
it was Regina's idea.
Oh, okay.
Regina says, she says, well, now, I said, how can we do it? She says, don't worry, we'll get you help. And she volunteered, she got some people, she got Florida.
But it was a legitimate job that you
Oh,
worked for.
yeah.
a few
Yeah, but
weeks
that was with
doing
me,
it.
her and
That
I,
was
we got up in the morning.
Yeah, it was
In the
hard
morning,
work.
listen,
It was hard.
in the morning, you had to put the heat on. When we got there like 7:30, and we come home at 3 o'clock. You had to put the air conditioner on
Yeah.
because it was so hot. And I took lunch, but a lot of times then we would just go to McDonald's or something and get a hamburger and soda. And that was it. It was hell. I says I never worked this hard for myself.
Was that?
That was a
Did you-
disaster.
Did you do that because you weren't working as a butcher?
I
or
wasn't.
that-
I didn't get a job yet.
Okay, so this was
And
before you got a.
And
job.
Johnny was concerned that I didn't get the job because he looked. I looked sad, I guess, something like that. And
So he said, "Here, clean some bathrooms."
so we got this. We got this here. Temporary thing. It was supposed to be a 3-week thing, and that's it. We went every day for as a matter, it was the spring. Now I remember because we finished it at Good Friday. It was the last day we worked. We finished the job on Good Friday, and Johnny took us out Easter Sunday to celebrate.
And that was it. You never went back to do it again.
Never do that again.
But then Lily-
I told her I'd rather rob a bank than do that. That's
It
what
was
I
hard
told her.
work. So then, Lily, you got a couple of jobs after that too. You worked
No, not really, Jack. I don't know where
Yeah.
how you can even think
at
of
the Golden
She worked at
Arches.
McDonald's,
What about the
and
Golden
she was a
Arches?
bus
You
driver.
worked at McDonald's?
Yeah, and
I
she was
didn't
their
know that.
best worker,
Oh,
the
she
one on
did.
Cheyenne.
Yeah,
Cheyenne
she
and
did.
Rancho.
But but she didn't have too much experience, so she was a helper.
Well, let her tell.
No,
How
yeah,
you worked
I
with them.
wasn't feeling so good. And
She did. I forgot.
I wasn't
But that was
feeling good,
after
and
we
I couldn't be as
after
good
we
as they
moved away
wanted
from
me
Right,
to be
yeah.
fast.
But
you
still
know,
jobs.
when we bought the new
What
house.
did you do? Did you make
Yeah.
French fries?
Yeah, stuff like that, and make the sandwiches, and then I was kind of fussy, and when it was busy, you don't get fussy.
She had to go out and clean the tables and everything on the
Yeah.
way.
But you were there for a while. It wasn't
Yeah,
that
yeah, I
short
was there
period.
for-
Well,
yeah.
it was
But
only
that's-
it was only
They were
part
nice
time.
people working.
Yeah,
It was
but about 6
only,
months?
Only part time. I don't think so.
No,
No,
only
no
about
way.
4.
Every job she got for
How
forget
much
about it.
job?
No,
6 days.
no,
6
6
days,
days. She
could
was
be.
at least 6 months.
No, it was
Because
there
I
a
was
while.
Rose and everybody.
Yeah, because Rose worked with you there.
Yes,
right,
that's
right,
right.
Right, and
Yes.
yeah, Randy's
Yeah.
mother. And
But
you
not
were
too
there
long.
Right,
Oh, not
yeah.
too long.
And then your other job was then you were also a school crossing guard.
Yeah,
Yes,
that
that's
was
right.
my
I even
last
forgot
one.
that.
Yeah.
And that was
And
only
your
a
other
short
job?
period. It was where the kids go.
But they lost
Right.
6 kids on the fly.
Yeah, I know.
But
I forgot. But none of them lasted. I even forgot that she even worked. She worked in a school that was a
right across the street
right
from your
across the
house.
street almost. The school
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And
Daycare.
she worked there for maybe
Daycare.
cost me $100 to get a health card to work with kids. You have to get, and the kids almost killed her. She worked there 3 weeks. She got almost pneumonia from because the
Yes,
kids carry so much
catching everything
germs.
the kids got, I
And
got
she got,
too.
and that it cost me $100. She never made $100 profit on the job.
But she worked. I mean,
Well, yeah, it was a
kept
job.
getting-
She tried because.
So that's 4 jobs Lily had here.
Well, they never called it a job because she never got credit for it. Even with the Social Security, she didn't get credit with it.
And then you got the job where? Right after the cleaning service.
Oh, the Hilton was the first job.
Okay, and what was
I
your
worked
actual
there 5
title?
years.
Your position was?
I was a butcher, then I was the first butcher, then I was the head butcher.
And then from there you
Then I
went
went to
to...
Caesar's Palace.
What
And
about
you're-
the Riviera?
That's later on. I was at the Caesar's Palace, and then from Caesar's Palace I was just a butcher there because the guys that worked at Caesar's Palace, they all had a lot of seniority, and the head butcher was there from the day one, and he was a good butcher in good shape. But then the Riviere called me up and says if I would like the job as the head butcher there. So I took that one. Then after that there, I went to, I forget what it was. Oh, I had a little problem with the head chef there. Oh, something to do with giving the head butchers would have to give up the union and work for the hotel, not as the, and I would had to take a cut, and I didn't want to do it. So then I applied for a job at the Rio, and I got the job as the head butcher right away.
And you were there for a long time.
I was there 9 years.
Uh-huh.
So 5 for the Hilton, 5 for Caesars, 9 years for the Riviera, 2 years for the
No, the other way around.
2 years for the Riviera,
Riviera.
9 years for the Rio.
You were the head butcher at the Rio?
Oh yeah, from day one. I
Wow.
was the only one all by myself. So I wasn't getting paid for as a head butcher. I was the only one there. So I ran. Then when I had help, then you consider the head butcher.
Now, Lily,
And that was non-union, so it wasn't that good. But they treated me like gold. I mean, I
you saw a lot of free shows.
a lot of free shows and a lot of free meals. And
Yeah.
I took as much as 8 people to a free meal, and Rio was noted for the best food in town.
Especially at that time, that was the
Yeah,
best
they were
hotel.
really building up like bad. Still got a very
Yeah,
good
that's why we went
reputation.
to the All-American Bar and Grill for
Yeah,
like
right. Right.
10 family dinners in
We
a
had a couple of
row.
big parties there. I
We
don't
did, we had
remember.
my confirmation there.
We had a
Yeah.
very big party for
We had a
somebody,
reunion
and we had
Yeah.
a party that the price was so little bit, we couldn't believe, we gave a bigger tip for all those people that we had, at least 25 people, 20 anyway. For all those people I had to give a bigger tip than what the meal cost, that's how
cost,
cheap
yeah.
I got it for.
A family reunion party was held at the Rio as
I don't
well.
remember.
Yeah, that was a
In the
different one.
ballroom.
In the ballroom,
That
right.
was the ballroom, that was,
Right.
but,
You had a really
but the
good
one in
DJ
the
there.
restaurant of the American Bar and Grill, we took a lot of people there, but I don't remember for what occasion. I had to do something with
It
one
was,
of the kids.
Yeah,
I
my
took the-
confirmation
the
there.
Is that what it
Yeah,
was? I said one of the
yeah.
For my
kids.
confirmation.
And that was
Yeah,
like
his
30
confirmation.
people. at least.
Yeah, we had a
Yeah,
lot
there
of
was all the
people.
Murphys there, everybody. And then Laurie and Paul and who was living in town, and Flora. It was all, everybody was living in town. Then we had a big party for Johnny's birthday. Remember the place, Johnny, that burned down?
Wow.
Out of town.
40th birthday, Warm Springs.
Oh, Warm Springs, yeah.
Oh, that was
That's for
fantastic.
John and Louise's
That was
birthday,
the
yes.
best party.
That was
Wow,
nice
yes.
though, while
Wow, that was, we
Warm
had a beautiful
Springs.
day.
Yeah.
I can't think of that.
Yes.
They had all the-
Where they had,
the
where they had
springs.
about 100 different palm trees right on the property.
Huh.
Big
Beautiful
pool,
pools.
big pool, and special water, special healing water,
Was
remember?
it here in town?
It was, no,
An hour
19
out of
miles,
town.
19 miles away.
I don't remember
We
that.
had a carnival about 12 cars
You were there.
on the parkway.
Obviously,
12 cars,
you didn't
you were young, you were still very young.
Yeah.
Jamie, you were still very young. But that was a fantastic
Well,
day.
shoot, if he was turning 40, I couldn't have been that young.
No, you were about 10.
I'm talking here 35 years.
Yeah, I think she
maybe-
was with Kristen.
Yeah.
Maybe
Because we
5 or
have
6
pictures
years.
of all of them.
Yeah, yeah.
If Johnny, I don't think even Johnny was born. 'Cause
If I was 10, he was born.
Oh, then, okay.
Okay, now Lily, what was your greatest accomplishment here?
Learning to drive, I want to hear
That
about
was it, that's
that.
what I was gonna say.
Right, yeah, I never thought I would do that, but because the traffic was little, in the area that I was
She went on the
to.
first try.
You got your license on the first
First
try?
try.
Yes, yeah,
Who
yeah.
taught you to drive?
Regina.
No, Regina taught everybody to drive.
Regina's the one that took him for the driving
That's
test, but I
right.
was teaching her too before that.
Right.
Yeah, that's
And she
right.
passed it. I know people come here that didn't pass the first 4 sets. She passed the first one, and I told her she wasn't ready, but she passed anyway.
Yeah, Regina did that with me
She
too.
did that,
Yeah.
so that was good.
I was happy.
But her biggest
happy.
achievement was taking care of her grandchildren.
Oh, I know. But that was quite an achievement for someone
She
your
loved it.
age who
Yeah.
never,
I could-
ever thought you'd drive.
I was well known in the hotels then. I could have got anybody. As a matter of fact, I got at least 8 and 9 people a job just like that, in all the hotels. The people that come from New York, I got them all a job. A lot of them, most of them didn't last one day. But I could have got her a job right away. But she didn't want to go to work. She wanted to stay with the kids.
But at least you got your license on the first try, and that was
Yeah,
quite an
yeah.
accomplishment.
Oh
Good
yeah,
for
it
you.
was when you think about it.
Now, what's some of your favorite things about moving to Las Vegas?
Well, being with the family, my kids, and I really loved that. To me, that was everything. But I cried all the way because I felt that I was going to be, I would drive and I'd be out of, where can I go? I can't go no place. But I was busy with the kids, and before I knew it, I was driving, And we used to go,
She got accustomed to it
Yeah.
right away. She loved
I
it.
used to take them to the
It took her about a year, but she got used to it.
Yeah.
She never complained no more.
And when we had the first flood,
That took a lot out of her.
Oh,
Since
I
that time, she
cried.
was
I was
shaking all the
so
time. If it got
afraid.
cloudy, she shaking.
we used to have the heavy clouds. I used to get very
Everybody
upset.
loved it when it got cloudy. Was hoping.
But you really love the mountains and the sky. and
Oh,
everything
yeah,
over
yeah.
here,
That's
right?
what I do look at
She used
the
to drive me
mountains all
crazy
the
to take her to
time.
Mount
Yeah.
Charleston all the time.
Yeah.
Did you guys spend a lot of time with my mom's parents, Harriet and Jim?
Yes, oh yeah,
Yeah.
we were close. We went
We're
play.
very close
We went to
with
play
them.
bingo together.
Yeah.
I took them to. They liked the machines.
Did they?
Oh yeah, we used to
Yeah.
take. Oh yeah, I remember. And she was. She wouldn't take an elevator or an escalator. I think
Really?
it was the escalator. We had to take an elevator to go up and down. She wouldn't go on the escalator, which I was surprised. And then he had a problem too, but I don't remember what it was. He did have a problem, but I don't remember what it was.
What else do you remember about them? I don't know them very well.
Yeah.
I got along
along
fabulously
very well,
with
we
the
really
both of
did.
them. Very good. We went out a lot of times together. And the one thing about talking about corn fritters, she used to make a lot.
Yeah.
And now he got very sick and he had to retire he wasn't working. And she already passed away. And she was staying by your mother's because she was very sick. So your mother had to go to work and everything. So he was alone in the house with Delma. And so she said,
Now,
she
who's
called.
Thelma? Say who Thelma is.
Delma was the cleaning lady.
Okay.
Yeah. And then she, I don't know what happened anyway, she went there to check on him and she says, I'm making breakfast, would you like nice pancakes? He says, oh, I love it. So she made the corn in the pancakes and he flipped over it. And he talked about it for a whole
My
year.
grandpa did?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he flipped
yeah.
over the corn
Who made
pancakes.
the pancakes?
Mama, I wasn't even
Really?
home. I wasn't even home, I was
Mama
working.
Lily.
Mama Lily was good for that. Oh yeah, she loved it.
So you
That time,
were
she
taking
was in-
care of my grandpa.
Oh,
Yeah, and that time she was in good shape. She took care of the kids good. She was cooking good. She was doing everything good that time. Now forget about it. She can't even cook no more.
So what are the favorite things? You like being with the family, like being with the grandkids, of
Oh
course.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then all her sisters were living out here, except Lucille and me. Look at me. I had 3 sisters living out here, and I got my grandchildren. I got my children and 3 sisters.
So actually, you were
What
very
more could you
blessed.
ask?
Yes,
Yeah,
and
what
I
more
was
could you?
very
I had the
happy.
whole family here. I had nobody. Back east, who would I have? My sister Rosie.
then she
They all
moved here,
moved out
too.
here. All of them. Back east, the only one who was back east that I had was Anthony and Joey.
Yeah.
Yeah, Anthony and Joey. That's it. Everybody, even and my brother Patty, he was in Florida, but he used to visit us 3 times a year.
But
He
how
loved Vegas.
Do you remember the first time you went to California? When you lived here?
To
Do you remember
visit your
why?
sister Flora. I don't remember why, no.
Oh, that was the. I don't know if I was here before that. Maybe that was the first time. I don't know if I was here before that. I might have been maybe to San Diego, just her and
Oh, okay.
I.
But that
That I
time
know.
when John was
but the
sick.
bad was that was well, that was
Now,
the
It
tragedy.
just came to my mind, but
That was the
it seemed
tragedy.
like
That
it
was
wasn't
forget
right.
about it. That was very
Tell me
bad.
all about that, because I was little
Okay.
when that happened.
We at 12 o'clock at night we got the phone call how bad he was supposed to be bad about.
Why were we in California?
Disneyland.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you come with me, Jamie,
You
at
don't
that
remember
time?
Disneyland?
Well, I'm asking
I
them
was
to tell
done,
me.
Yeah.
and everybody was partying in the
Yeah,
park.
everybody. Yeah.
Remember?
So
Yeah,
my
you-
parents took me to just. Who else were we with? Were we with the
Laura.
Burkharts?
Laura and Paul.
Okay.
Okay, they came home. Your mother stood in California with him. He was in the hospital. Then we got the call from your mother saying that he was very, very bad. Don't look good. So I got together. I borrowed somebody's.
No.
I borrowed my sister Flora's car. Your car?
I drove. That's how desperate we were.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
because,
drove to
yeah, because at
California.
3 o'clock in the morning I
Yeah.
couldn't keep my eyes
It
open.
was you,
We were
me,
worried.
Ann, your Ann Murphy.
Yeah,
Ted
yeah, yeah,
Louise.
yeah. Okay. And who else? That's
The
it.
4 of us.
I didn't have. Oh, I
I
left
think
you
you
in
took me.
California. I took her to California. To see
I was gonna
by
say,
yourself.
you
and I
took
alone went to California to see you.
Yes, and then you took me to Disneyland, didn't you?
Right. Because they says don't leave her here. You know, I took her
So
to,
you took
to
me.
get her away.
I remember you driving me to California.
Right. I drove her to California. Did Mama come with us? I don't
I don't
remember.
remember. I remember you driving me
No.
and taking me to Disneyland.
Right.
Just the two
And
of
then-
us went.
And then I left you in California, and I came home, and then I had to go back. But I left you in California with your mother.
But I stayed with John. I stayed with John. You went home and
I left you and Mama then in California.
Yeah, and I
That's
stayed
what it
with
was.
John.
Then you
Right.
came back in the
Where
four
did
of
we
us.
stay? In a hotel, Grandma? Were we
Yes.
staying in a hotel?
Yes, it was a hotel.
Yes, that's where they had to go.
was like
You
a
stayed in a
Marriott.
hotel.
Hotel, yeah. And when he was in the hospital, when he was
When he was in the
dying, my
hospital.
father
It was in
dying.
Fullerton.
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 Yes, yes.
Yeah. I came home,
Yeah.
and then I had to go back again.
And that's when I went back with you.
And I don't think she was. She
Right.
wasn't.
She was
with us.
already there.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right.
So, Lori and Paul took me home and then back to Las Vegas, and then you took me back to California. That's what
Okay,
happened.
that's what. it
Yes,
was.
with Grandma.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
okay.
And then he came
And then who
back.
was taking care of Michelle then?
She was
She
in
knows-
Florida.
No,
was-
she was.
She was a baby.
She was
It
a
was her
baby.
birthday. She was a
Right.
year old. We didn't. She
right.
never had a birthday
So
party.
when, if you and my
was a
mom
year
were in
old.
California, who had Michelle?
I
Dad? Oh, well,
Yeah.
someone must have told you. Who was watching Michelle?
John, she was a year old.
It was your mother's parents.
Okay.
Oh yeah, they left Michelle home because she was only a
What was
baby.
Yeah.
your
Jim and
mother-in-law's
Harry.
name?
Michelle was just a year was going on a year old in a couple of days. That's what they stood.
And Bella,
That's
too.
right.
They-
Right.
they stayed at
They
the
stood
house.
home. Right. Michelle didn't come with us.
No, she was too
As a
little.
matter of fact, when I took you to California, your mother was a little upset. She says, "I got so much of a headache
I remember
taking
that.
care of my husband. We had a few words because I took you there."
Do you want to tell me exactly what those words were?
No, it wasn't bad.
I'm just
It's on video.
But she got upset with me.
And that's
because-
quite understandable.
She got upset with me because I took you there. I said, "What do you want? The kids screaming, I want to be with my mama, my mama, my mom." And I didn't,
The hell about me?
no, we didn't even think about you, Johnny, at that time. It was, well, she said, well, that's what happened. So then, then I left you there. And I came home alone.
So I was with my mom and my grandma.
And that
Right.
time it wasn't that serious yet. It was bad, but it wasn't that bad. But then when I was home 2-3 days,
That's
then
when we drove in the middle of
that's
the
when
night,
we had to go
because that's
back.
when she said he's not gonna make it through the
and
night.
Mama wasn't with Mama. Well, I left you and Mama there. But Mama stood in a hotel and you want to stay with your mother, which is
And Lily, I'll never forget, what did you have us all do in the waiting room?
Pray. Yeah. The rosary.
You also
yeah.
did rosary for
Right.
John.
Yeah.
that's what kept you alive, John. Good. Okay.
But
let's
then
go.
he made it, and
let's-
we had a huge party.
Oh yeah, we had a big
Yeah,
party.
we had a
But
big
but
party.
nobody came home, and then I was home only 3 or 4 days. He had to go back to the hospital. He went
Yeah,
to the
I
hospital.
remember that.
And over
It was
here.
at sunrise.
And yeah, and he stood there for about a week.
And then who wound up in the room next to him? Joe Pasola.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Oh, yeah.
He had his appendix out.
Oh, I don't even
yeah.
remember that.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's
You're
not.
good, Jack. Remember all that.
Well, he's young.
He was in for 2 days, I
Yeah,
was
that's
in for
right.
6 weeks.
That's right. He was there a long time.
You were in the
All together.
hospital here for 6
All
weeks?
together, Louis.
Yeah.
All together was
Wow.
almost 5 weeks, I would say, too. Yeah, 5, 6 weeks, 5.
Wow.
But that was September, right,
He
John?
was on-
October to Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
He was on his best. He was on his last legs. He was in bad
And
shape.
tell him about the big party we had that Christmas when he came home.
Something happened though. Did Johnny get cut or something? What happened?
No. It was a big party. We had the big poster, remember,
Oh,
with
right.
everybody.
I wish we
welcome
still
to-
had that poster.
I remember,
wonder
yeah, I
what it
remember
is.
your grandfather.
And my father was
Yeah.
Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Hey,
Oh,
must
that
have
was on
had-
Montessori. That was the house.
We
Oh,
must have had
okay.
70 people there that
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
big. That was, and it was a nice weather too. We had a lot. A lot of us stood outside.
That was the year
We had-
everybody was here.
I think we had a table, set
Well,
up
it was
table
a big
outside
thing
on a
because of
patio
John
with all the food.
getting better and
Right,
all the,
right.
all the little kids getting big.
Oh, there
We
must have been
getting
about 12
big,
kids there,
you
maybe
big.
more.
Oh, more than that.
More,
Yeah, it was
yeah.
fun.
And John couldn't even
Everybody
speak.
from almost everybody from New York was there.
No, he couldn't speak
Oh, that's right.
because he had the ventilator on.
Oh, for so long, yeah. That's right. It took about
forgot about that.
3 weeks before he got his voice back again.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that dried your throat up so bad. Oh, that was bad. So that was almost a bad 2 months.
So, Poppy, one of my best memories growing up is every place you used to take us when we were kids.
Oh,
What do you tell me
Where did I
about
take
all the places you took us when we were growing up? You took us everywhere.
I took you to the big airport, and then I took you to
Yeah.
the small neighborhood airport.
Never to get off the plane.
I took you
Just
to
look
lot.
at the
I
plane.
took you
Look at them all
Mount
the time.
Charleston. I took you to
Wet n Wild.
Wet and Wild a couple of
Wild all the
times.
time.
I took you with all the other kids.
Yep.
Because
all of
I,
us.
you know, the butcher shop, I'm used to back east, working 10 hours a day, 6 days a week and more. Over here, I was working 5 days a week, and it was like a vacation to me. And then you kids, we lived in the same property with you kids, so we grew up with you. And at that time, I got interested in woodwork. And I
Yes.
made you
Made us
wagons.
everything.
I made you wagons. I made you
Tables.
small tables with beautiful chairs to sit on, because for 3-year-old kids. I made you a wagon where you put all flowers on it, flower pots on it, with
Oh,
a wheel.
yeah.
I won a prize for that. It was such a good wagon. Because I went to school at night, woodworking school, to learn.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
that's how I made that nice wagon. And I made the best thing in school. I forget, it was 1 day a week, a woodworking class, you know. But they had all the tools there for me to work with. Cause then I got interested in woodworking, so I bought them. But I made about 3 or 4 more diners. But at my age, I can't think of it right now.
How
I
about
should have been
the
prepared. For it.
window,
Flower pots.
the flower?
Oh, I made flower. Oh, I made
you
beautiful
made that.
flower pots.
Window boxes.
Window
boxes.
boxes to put flowers in. I did it on my house and your house there too. I did all that stuff. I'm sure I did more, but I can't remember.
You made me a little step stool for John when he was born.
I made a carriage for you.
Oh, you did.
Yes.
Yeah.
And wait a second, something was it a carriage? No, a high chair. A high
high
chair,
chair,
and
right.
we had a bad,
Yeah.
bad part of that. I had a high chair. I had a high chair for you to sit in. You know, just for you. You were young, 3 years old, say maybe 3, 4 years old, and I just finished the high chair. I was so proud of it and everything else. I showed. We had a lot of company. I showed everybody the high chair, and as we're talking this and that, and guess what? Grandpa, Lily Spada, goes and sits on it. Right? That was that hard, that much for a young kid. He sat on it. He's got a butt that big, and went. Everything got loose, and I had a fit. I did have a fit, and everybody. I didn't think I carried on that bad, but everybody told me I did carry on bad. That I should have been ashamed of myself, and I felt. But the funny part is, he got upset, and he says, "Come on, we gotta go home," and they left. We made up that guy.
Oh, yeah.
But I did get upset.
That
He got
was,
upset, and everything else. What are you gonna do?
And where else?
I wish I could have put a fly on the wall for that.
No.
Give me a seat, please. I'm an old lady. So my father said, he didn't have any really nice words to. I wouldn't say to anybody, but he couldn't speak English.
But
He
that
still
well,
had that
yeah.
heavy Italian
That's it.
accent, right?
So you took the kids out a lot. I mean, you spent
Oh
a lot of time
yeah,
with the
forget about
grandkids.
it. Well, I took them to Sunrise Park. Was it
Sunset Park.
Sunset
And they,
Sunrise
had,
Hospital.
and they even had a big pool there, beautiful
Yeah.
pool.
That's
there.
right.
And we went in there. I think it was.
And you go to
free.
Lake Mead with them too?
I went
Yes,
all
he
over.
took us to Lake Mead.
Oh yeah, Lake Mead.
Lake
Sure, forget about it. I went
the
to Lake
fish, feed
Mead.
the fish.
You took
all
us
over.
everywhere, and Grandma cooked
Forget
us
about
gourmet
it.
meals.
Yeah.
And,
Michelle.
and not
came-
once. I took them 2 or 3 times at the same
Remember when
places.
Michelle came in the middle of the night crying for us? It was like we were so close. It was like we were the mom and papa. She comes in, and she had just her diapers.
She didn't have nothing on,
She had
completely nothing on.
She had
She used to take everything
crying
off the
for
nightgown.
us. Oh my
She
God.
comes in at 3
And it
o'clock
was
in the
late.
morning.
They were sleeping. I didn't want to
3
wake
o'clock
them
in the
up
morning
upset
and-
them too
and,
much.
uh,
So I just bundled her up as long
And,
as she was
and screaming,
being-
Grandpa, Grandma.
We
I
had
open the door, there she is, right in front of me with nothing on. And it was a cold night.
Right.
And then Johnny comes out looking for in his shorts and his underwear. He's no clothes on, but he had shorts and an undershirt.
Seemed to be a
And I
theme
said,
there.
don't worry, she's fine. She's in the house. Okay. And I said,
I had nothing on.
well, you had your shorts on. Where'd you go to bed with your? So I said it.
It sounded like she's walking on.
Well, 3 o'clock in the morning, you're not going to come with a suit on.
Michelle was naked. You had underwear on.
Oh, Michelle was naked.
She was, John.
She was,
John,
she
she
had
didn't even
nothing
have one
on.
sock on. Nothing.
Sock. Goes to bed. She had a
Johnny, she had nothing.
had-
John, she was
No,
maybe
she
3 years
was-
old. She had
was
nothing on.
herself. She was younger than that.
But then the worst thing was Regina came over and she had nothing on except that.
I remember you because I answered, Mama didn't, I answered the door and you waved to me. I said, she's fine. She's in bed with us. No problem. That's it.
She was like this wandering kid all the time.
Hell.
At 3, she couldn't sleep, so she'd come in at 1 o'clock,
But
3
yeah,
o'clock,
she-
and 1 o'clock in the morning.
We
She
used
was
to love
constant-
playing in your house. Did we get into all your stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think you probably,
We
probably,
did
probably
dance.
aggravated
First
you.
of all, we used to do a lot of dances in New York, so I used to put the music on there, and
Yeah.
Mama and I used to put a show on for her. And she'd be sitting there, for you too, Jamie, we did it for Jamie, for you I'm sure I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
And then,
Kristen.
a lot of things, then she used to sing for us and dance. She used to do Michael Jackson a lot.
yes.
Oh, she did his steps like mad.
At your birthday party, remember at St.
Yeah, she did it
Francis, we
there
had
too.
a
Her
video.
and the other one, the other girl.
Carrie?
No.
Teresa's daughter.
Carrie.
Carrie,
okay,
yeah. But Carrie got up, when
That's
she was
right.
dancing, Carrie got up and danced with her, yeah, at the party. But she used to love to dance and she used to love to sing then. She wouldn't sing in front of mother and father, but she sang in front of us.
Yeah.
because we did it in front of them, you know? So we did a lot of things there.
And then we used to have Laura, what's her name? Laurie's kids too. Kristen and Jason.
Oh,
Jason
yeah.
used to love them. And we,
That's another thing through the video.
Should omit that again, that's about the fifth time.
Oh, she remembered.
but she was good. No, they were good. Jason was so
Oh, we
good.
took them
We used
all
to
over.
make the soup.
Jamie and
just
Kristen,
in
you
the
couldn't separate them.
No.
We couldn't separate them, so we had to take them.
Oh,
anyway.
yeah,
So we
yeah.
took Jason too. We did all of it.
was
I
the
remember
super-
Jason at Wet n Wild.
Okay, no,
He
but
was
the
stuck
plate- the
way
broth-
up in the. He
Oh,
was
the
scared.
broth.
He was scared to go down.
Yes, yes.
And the
Yeah.
only way I could get up
And
there
he
because there was
loved
about 10 kids behind him, and so I can't climb up the ladder to try to get to him. I couldn't. So I tried to go up where the water's coming down. It took me about 20 minutes to get up there.
Yeah.
And then I put him in my arms and we slide down.
And Lily, what did you like to cook for them? Because you were always cooking for them. For the kids.
Everything. I know. I used to.
She was good at the time. She could do that. She had patience and made all
Yeah,
fancy stuff.
What was
Now she can't, she wouldn't even
special?
make me
I don't
coffee.
remember.
Did they ever ask for anything special like Jamie liked
Lamb
this?
chops.
Oh yeah, they were crazy. Both of them. The two
And
lamb
guys were
chops.
crazy for
Yeah, but
lamb
I
chops.
mean, that you just put on the grill. That was nothing.
Grandma
But they
made
made
us lamb
all-
chops
yes.
all.
Time.
That's all we wanted. Breakfast,
Yeah,
lunch,
they
and
loved,
dinner.
Yeah.
they
Lamb
loved
chops.
the rib lamb chops with the stick and the whole thing.
They used to be good at that time.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what happened to
I
the
used to
meat
buy a lot.
this
Well,
time.
I used to get the meat cheaper than because the people that sold the meat to the Hilton, through them, I used to go to their warehouse and I used to get a lot
And do
cheaper.
you remember that Thanksgiving we were all supposed to go up to the
Oh, yeah.
house in Mount
That's funny. I was
Charleston?
just gonna ask about that.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
And where did we wind up having Thanksgiving dinner on the fly? At your
My
house,
house. At my
in the
house,
guest
yes,
house.
yeah.
With about 15 people because we couldn't get up there because of the snow.
Right. Lori Paul got up there, but they got stuck on the bottom. They couldn't get to the top
Right.
of Johnny at that house.
Yeah.
They had to walk up there. But they were young, so it wasn't bad.
Now, weren't you supposed to bring the turkey?
I was supposed to cook
Yeah.
the
That's how
turkey.
we wound up having
Right,
the
that's
turkey.
why we cooked the
Right.
turkey and bring it there, but it was a bad snowstorm. Now, over here it was just a rainstorm, very bad. Up there it was all snow.
Did my mom make it up? I seem to remember going up.
We were up there.
Yeah,
We
they
were.
there.
We did it. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys went there the night before, and you just got there when the snow started to go. Then it snowed all night and got very bad. Yeah.
What else about that house? Did we spend a lot of time there at the Mount Charleston house?
Not too much. I don't think you even had it a year.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? We only had it a year?
Did have a couple of years.
Yeah.
Oh, I got hurt
We all
up
went
there.
more than you did.
I got hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were young, and
Yeah.
I fell up there,
Oh, I didn't know
and
that.
it was bad. I really hurt myself bad. I missed 3 days' work, and then all of a sudden it disappeared.
What did you do? You slipped on
I
ice?
slipped on snow,
Oh.
and I had snow boots on and everything, but I slipped, and the way I fell, it's hard to say. Instead of slipping this way, I fell this way, and I fell right on. All my weight went right on my ankles and on my kneecaps, and it was bad, very bad. And then the pain went away, and I drove home. And as soon as I got in front of the house to get out of the car, as soon as I got out of the car, I fell right down. That's how much I got a sharp pain, fell right down. So that's what
Was
I did. work
Mr.
for 3
Murphy
days.
help you? Was he alive at
I don't
the time?
remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember. All I know is I fell and I missed
Yeah.
work.
You know, we need to talk about where did you live here? Because we only hear about you living over at Montessori, but you didn't live there the whole time you've been here in Vegas.
No, we lived there
The
only
first-
about 5 years.
Right.
Okay, in the
Then
guest
we
house.
moved. We got an apartment. Don't you remember that nice
On
apartment
Oakey,
on
yeah.
I
Oakey?
remember.
On Oakey.
We lived
On
right
Oakey.
next door to you.
As a matter of fact,
With Ann,
my
right?
sister Annie, when she moved to Vegas, she got an
Right,
apartment.
so
right
that was
there.
1986.
It was that long? Mm-hmm. Oh, see, I don't remember.
And
And
then
then-
you were there how long?
I got there. I got a very good deal there because I didn't even pay no rent there. I think Jane R. Flora paid all the rent.
Yeah, you were there,
2 years?
yeah.
Okay, I don't even remember too sure. 2 years, but they paid the rent. But then what happened? Annie bought a house right by where you had your house, 2 houses away from where you bought Louise and Jack.
We
bought
bought
the
them at the
house.
same time.
Right, same time. So then I got jealous, and I was going to be 62 years old. I was going to get my pension money. They were going to buy it. I was going to get like $14,000. So I says, I got to invest that to buy a house. So then we bought a house a block away from you, from Annie and Jack and Louise. And bought a little more furniture, and we bought the house there.
And that was on Smoky Pine Way.
Right, that's when I wanted Lily to get a job, a little easy job. She got the job in the school for the kids, you know, worked there 2 weeks, got pneumonia. And it cost $100 for, I said, for the, you have to have a special health card when
Right.
you're
Yeah.
dealing with kids. She got very sick, and all the kids used to have running noses and all that stuff.
I was
And she had
catching
to
all
pick
the
them.
calls from the
She was
kids.
picking up all the
Yeah.
young kids, the babies.
None
She
of
was
the
picking
other
up.
teachers did, but I did.
She picked up all
Okay,
the
so
kids.
that was a cute little house. You were there for a
It
long
was
time.
cute.
I was there for,
And weren't you like the mayor or the governor or something?
well, I was on the board. I was on the board.
Yeah.
And we were there, I think, 24 years, and I was on the board 20 years out of 24 years.
So that's where you lived the longest
Right,
here in
right.
Vegas.
And then,
Actually, that sounds like that's where you lived the longest anywhere in your whole life.
no, on Holt Street. Well, yeah, that's probably right.
Right.
Yeah, that's probably the longest.
Yeah.
Right, right.
And then you moved to...
I bought that house for $63,000. Then it went all the way up to $2,000, $200,000. Then we had the crash, and then you couldn't sell the house for $50,000.
Yeah.
You couldn't sell it, and I was paying a lot of interest rate at that time, and the money. I was there for what, so many years, like 15 years, and the mortgage is still the same. Never got any better.
And then that brought you to...
So now
This
where
house.
I'm living here, Johnny, I was going to go to a senior citizen place, and I liked it because they had you could play poker there at the man. They had the swimming pool right out the door, and I could keep myself as long as I played cards. I don't have to go to casino. We would play for nickels and dimes. It wouldn't have been so bad. And I liked it. She didn't like it too much. But then Johnny, I showed Louise and Jack and Johnny to come and look at it. And Louise liked it, but Johnny didn't seem to care for it. But anyway, then 2 days later he comes by, he said, I'm going to buy a house in Sun City. I'm going to fix it all up. It's a fixer-upper, and I want you to move in there. And that's what we did. Fixed it all up beautiful. He did everything. Painted all the inside, got a new stove, new washer and dryer, new sinks,
New floors.
new bathroom sinks, and complete new floors. Painted, did a fantastic job. Everything was just about new in the whole place,
And that was...
and we moved in 2.5 years ago.
So that was
And we're still here. This is Sun
2013.
City. We're only senior citizens here. They got everything. They got 5 pools. We got 3 clubhouses. They got everything you can think of here to do to keep you busy. And I was very happy. The first 4 months or 5 months, I had no problems. Then I fell one day. My leg fell asleep and I fell, and I've been having trouble ever since with my leg. And I love to do work around the place, but I can't do it because of my leg.
And how old are you now?
You don't want to know, 87,
And Lily is...
84.
Well, she's like a spring chicken.
Oh yeah, spring chicken.
All right, before we finish up, got just two more questions for you.
Good.
Unless Jamie or anything else you want to
And-
say? You think we're okay?
Ask yours and then I might have one or
Okay.
2 more.
What advice would you give your younger family members about anything? If you have one piece of advice you could give the younger people in the family, and by younger we mean anybody under 84.
You know, I don't have much advice to give them because, you know something? I'm shocked how much smarter and brighter they are than me. Really, I am shocked. And I can't even believe it. And now I'm seeing new kids come, my great-grandchildren, and they're even smarter than my grandchildren. I get shocked over all of them. I can't believe it. They seem to know so much at 3 years old. It's shocking. Maybe because I'm going backwards and they're going forward. I think that's what it is.
What do you
My
think?
advice
You
is-
have 2 teenage great-grandsons, my boys.
Right.
When you look at them, what do you
Oh, I love,
think?
there's too much love there. I don't know what to tell you. I love them. I'm always telling them things, what to do, what to say sometimes. I don't know if they hear me right, but I'm always telling them, especially when they were playing baseball, because I love baseball.
Yeah.
But now the both of them seem to be fading.
Well, John's
away.
playing baseball right now.
Oh, good,
Oh,
they
yeah,
still play.
yeah.
But especially with baseball, I can communicate with them a lot better.
What about you, Lily? What advice
I
would you give them?
love my Lily because she's named after me.
That's a big thing, right?
Yeah. To me, well, you know what I'm going to say, to be faithful to your faith. That's it.
Oh, yeah.
Because no matter what you get, the only one that's going to be with you is God. and
That's
not
right.
to forget that.
And what is the one thing that, I'm going to ask this of each of you. What is the one thing you would like to be remembered for? The one thing you would like to be
How
remembered
much we love each other. I think it's like,
Aw.
see, they love grandma and grandpa love each other.
Oh, you know, it
That's
was. We were
like
young.
giving
We
each
were
other-
younger. We were very open about it. You know, we showed affection like man, this and all that junk in front of the grandchildren, which is good. And of course, we gave them a lot of love, and we showed them what love was.
So you like to be remembered for
And
being-
I'm so proud of my two granddaughters, children, my granddaughters. They show so much love for me. I can't believe it. They do.
That's true.
I know.
Really, they really do. They show just as much, and maybe probably more for her. But I just remember me. I remember me.
You're always the favorite, Poppy.
Yeah, they do remember me. They make a big fuss. It makes me feel so good. It makes me, because I don't think I'm that great, but I feel good about it.
Well, you really liked going to Michelle's wedding. We made
Oh
a fuss
yeah,
over
oh
you
yeah,
there.
oh yeah, yeah.
Everyone made a
Oh
fuss
yeah.
there over
and
Poppy.
and my granddaughter and grandson paid for everything. It was unbelievable. It was a trip to New York or anything else. It was
Got to go to a
fantastic.
Yankees game with
Oh
your
yeah,
great
the
grandchildren.
last game of the
Right,
season
yeah.
when Mariano Rivera retired from the Yankees. It was the trip to New York was fantastic. The only thing that spoiled the whole trip was Lily wasn't with me. It was fantastic.
Who?
Lily,
You weren't there, Lori.
she didn't make it. She didn't make it. That would have been nice.
Too bad you told her. She thought she was there. She had a good time.
Trip
No,
was
I-
really, really
Like,
good.
I really didn't think of that, you know?
Yeah.
So I want to know from what you've been alive for 80 years. What's something you've seen happen in your lifetime that just you never thought you'd see happen?
Well, the last 100 years, there's more things happened in the last 100 years in America than ever happened 2,000 years before. Everything, if you think about it, airplane, automobiles,
TV.
So you've seen all that.
TV, television,
Wars.
movies,
Wars.
all kinds of things. I mean, there was a lot of wars, not the
Yeah.
bad part, but there was so many things. Man going to the moon,
Penicillin.
penicillin is right. I didn't need penicillin, never got in trouble.
That's right, yeah.
But so many things. Let's face it. I mean, TB.
It's
They
true.
cured TB. 100 years. What happened in 100 years before that? Hardly nothing. Big deal. Christopher Columbus discovered America. He went to the wrong place in the first place. but I mean, it was nothing compared to what happened in the last year. The only bad things, we had 2 World Wars too, which was bad. But you know, as bad as the
There's
world
always
was,
been wars, though.
Yeah.
as bad as the 2 world wars, we learned more medical things from the wars. The best things that ever happened, to me, I can't even pronounce what all the things. The best things that ever happened was learned from the wars, really.
And the space program. Going
Space program, we learned so much. Penicillin even came from the war. Everything.
So
Everything
what
you think
of
about.
all that? What's the thing that the most?
Well, I served in the Navy. Wasn't a good job. I wasn't that good, but 2 years. I never got in trouble or anything. But I didn't accomplish anything. I was too young, 18 years old. I had a girlfriend, very young, and I didn't enjoy. I was hoping I would get out of the Navy as fast, just to be with her. And but otherwise, when I think about it, if I didn't have a girlfriend, I would have stood in the Navy, because the 20 years in the Navy would have been a godsend. I would have had a retirement at 38 years old with a pension for the rest of my life.
But maybe you ever stop and think the best thing that ever happened to you was that you met each other.
Oh, well, yeah, but I met each other 4 years before I even went to the Navy.
But that's the best thing that ever happened, because
No,
we
not
would all
3
be
years.
sitting
But
here
you
right
could have
now.
married Grandma while you were in the Navy and kept her with you. You didn't want to do that?
Well, we were too young.
Too young?
We were too young.
I think it was illegal.
I was 19 and she was
Yeah.
16.
No,
My
but legally
God.
get married then.
I know, I was 19. We got married very young. That's what it was. But, and I learned the trade as a butcher. And you know, in the food line, you work hard. You do a lot of hours, you worked hard. And
Hard worker.
it was
Yeah,
hard,
I
it was
had-
hard working.
I did a lot there.
But thank God, you know, I was good. I dealt with the people very good. I could talk very good.
They
I
all
dealt
liked
with a
you.
whole lot of women. most of my trade was you dealing, but that time all the women did the shopping, not like today. And I think I opened up easy. I felt easier talking to
Big
women.
flirt.
And I was, for some reason or other, I was a good, what'd you say, a
I was
BS
around.
talker. I could talk to them very, very good. I could tell them about how to cook the meat, which I didn't even know myself, but I was convincing. Sometimes they told me how good it is. I was proud of myself. So that's about it. So I think on a whole, on a scale of 1 to 10, my life, what I
11.
accomplished was only about 8. I should have done a lot, but I missed the boat on about 7 or 8 big things that would have really been good. Would have really made out big financially and everything. I missed the boat about 8 things. I don't know why.
Darn.
I bought a house. It was the GI wouldn't accept it because it didn't have no centralized heating in it. It was the cold water flat. And I bought that house.
Where
to
was that,
move-
in Brooklyn?
On Fulton Street, where I used to work, where I had my own butcher shop. The house I bought.
That's right,
I was buying a house, and the bank turned me down because I had no centralized heating. I was buying under GI Bill. That was a big step. I was buying a house for I think it was either 10,000 or 9,000. I'm not even sure for the whole house. Getting 2 rents besides. There 2 families above the house, the butcher shop, and that house sold for over $200,000. I hear after I left, 3 years after I left, they sold that house.
It was on Fulton Street.
On
and,
Fulton Street,
Yeah.
they had heat in. The guy put the cheapest heat in possibly. He put gas heat in, but he got a cheap job. He didn't have a good job.
Was that Fulton and,
Between Lincoln and Nichols Avenue.
Yeah.
And I would have made $200,000 more on that house. And I only got to keep it 16 years. That's it, I missed the boat. I was buying something else, so I missed the boat. I forget. Or the house we lived on Autumn Avenue, right next to you, Jack. I'm buying that house for $12,000. 2-family house, beautiful house, in good shape. We loved that house. And that house, the lawyer, he screwed up the whole thing. I was
You
buying
buying that
a
for the
GI
Beverleys?
bit. Yeah, no, before they
Before
bought
that,
after
that's
me.
right, yeah.
I was buying, and something to do with they screwed up the paperwork, and we had to wait, and that time you had to wait 6 months to buy a house in the GI Bill, to go through the whole thing. They put my paper that was on the top to give it, so because it was a big mistake, they put it on the bottom, and I had to wait another 6 months. And they already bought, people I was buying a house from already bought a house, and they had to move out, the people bothering them to take the house. So we had to cancel the thing, and they sold the house the next day. Somebody was
But by and large-
they had somebody interested. That's why they did it.
but by and large, you gotta say that your life has been, both lives have been very.
Oh yeah, considering
we love
everything, we had 2
Can't
beautiful
complain.
kids. What more could you ask for?
Family and
We had 2 beautiful kids. I had a beautiful
How
wife.
about
What
your
more
delivery?
could
How was that with Queen President and how was
Oh,
delivery
yeah.
done?
I didn't ask you about
They
that.
asked about that.
Well, she had a hard time with the both of them.
yeah.
Did you have a C-section? Or did you have
That's what
them?
I should have had. They made me suffer for so long.
She had a, what do you call that? We call it
Breach.
N-
breech pad.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Both.
Both. One came out ass first, the other one came out
Feet
something
first.
first. Feet
Well,
first.
what else would it be?
Feet first.
I didn't even think of that.
Why didn't they give you a C-section?
And she was young. Well, we didn't have a private doctor. We went
Yeah,
through the
yeah.
clinic. We were both very young, no money, no insurance. When I worked in a butcher shop at that time, at 18 years old, they didn't give me no insurance. I didn't know I was going to get married, and this and that happened so fast. So I didn't have good insurance. We had to do all that junk. So we had it rough. We didn't have it easy. We
I
had it
cried
rough.
so much when Louise was born because they said the baby's coming out with the feet.
Feet first.
And I really didn't understand that. I never heard of
Right,
babies.
And then, you know,
That
the
poor
doctor,
John.
we had,
They had shoes
we had a doctor in the family, my mother's cousin, first cousin too, he was Dr. Lyota, that was my mother's maiden name. And he says later on, because when we needed a doctor for the kids, we always called him. And he yelled at us, he says, why didn't you tell me you were going to have a baby? I would have took care of you.
Yeah,
But
killed
we didn't want to, we didn't do it, that's it. We-
Oh, what about John? What was his
John came out feet first, her
No,
buttocks
ass first.
first. But,
Ass first, Dad. You're always doing everything ass first. Poppy.
but I cried so hard because they made me just lay there and labor and labor. And then when they would say, no, we're having a, nurses go, oh yeah, we're having a hard time, the baby's coming out the wrong way. I didn't understand that.
Right, she was too
You had
young.
no
Too
nice
young.
nurse come to me, a nice
See, if you
doctor
had
come up
private,
to me.
if you had insurance, it would have been in the, she would have had, she was in the hall for about a day before they even,
tell
ya.
before they even
Yeah.
put her in a room.
Poppy,
And I-
were you, as a young man, 18 years old, when you found out Grandma was having a baby, were you scared?
I guess so,
nervous?
I'm scared, I was scared, I'm sure I was.
That was what Louise.
I mean, you
sure.
couldn't have been
Yeah,
ready
but
for
I
that.
wasn't making
no
no money.
job.
I had a job, but I wasn't. Oh,
But little
no,
job.
not really. But I wasn't making good money. Those days they would pay the butcher hardly nothing. Don't forget, I worked in a neighborhood butcher shop. I wanted to get in the union. At least you get a better salary and you get a lot of benefits. But 18, 19, when I came out of the Navy, I was not even 20 years old. I came out of the Navy December 17th on her 16th, day before her birthday.
Yeah.
And my birthday was December 26th to be 20 years old. So
And then-
I went to get a job back where I worked, but meanwhile he got 2 years. He had somebody else. As a matter of fact, it was Johnny took him as a partner, and so he didn't need me. I worked there for about a month. I was collecting $52.20. You get $20 a month, a week from the service. I was collecting the check $20 a week, but that wasn't enough money, so I had to get a job. So then the guy I worked for was such a nice man. I loved him. His name was Emil Salo. He got me a job because he couldn't afford me, but he got me a job in a butcher shop about a mile away. To some friend of his was at a butcher, and I worked there for him. I worked for him over, my God, I think I worked for him about 15 years.
Wow.
And then I went to work in A&P. And then I bought the butcher shop. And that's it.
And that's history.
And then I worked in the
That's
Hilton.
history,
And then I worked in the Hilton. And
Anyone?
I cut meat for over 60 years.
What are your memories about your first grandchild being born?
That would be.
Well,
nice.
first grandchild, she was, it wasn't that because she was born in Vegas and we
Yeah,
were
but-
still living in Brooklyn. In
Yeah, but we
Brooklyn.
still heard
But the
with
thing is, I
Jamie,
remember
we
about
loved
that, my first grandchild, when they come to visit us, Johnny and Regina came to visit us in New York, and they left the baby with us.
I remember.
And
remember?
I was on the floor playing with the baby with her like mad and
And
holding
then she
her.
wouldn't stop crying, remember?
Well, she was always crying for her mother.
Because you called us and we came over.
Oh, yeah?
What did they think you were gonna do?
Oh, I needed help. Somebody help me.
Experience with talent. So-
Jamie, you were crying for your mama, and I'm playing with you on the floor and everything. That was
Then when she used to go home, 5 minutes later she was back.
well, that was
Remember?
over here.
Yeah.
Over here,
No, not-
when Mama was taking care of Montessori,
Oh,
she called. She knew how to she knew how to answer the phone at 4 years old, and she knew how to call her mother at 4 years old.
Jamie?
Jamie,
Yeah.
and she would call her mother at least 6 times a day, crying, "Come on, mommy, when you coming home? When you coming home?" And she used to drive me crazy. I said, "Get off that phone, leave her alone. Your mommy's busy." Mommy, she kept doing it. Well, anyway, Regina come home about 1:30, right? She go running there, this and that. She's not in the house not even 5 minutes, and she's coming back. And I says, "What the?" I yelled, "What are you doing here? You cried, you drove me nuts all morning for your mommy. Your mommy's there now. Now get out of here and go home."
And what about Michelle, the next one?
Oh,
Michelle didn't cry too much. Michelle blended in with us more. 'Cause
Yeah,
she was 3 years old when we moved there, but Michelle was 1 hour more
Yeah.
with us. You know what I mean?
Yep.
We had
And
a-
I remember we all went
yeah.
to the hospital.
And
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah, yeah. So Michelle, Jamie was going to the shop after that a lot.
Yeah, and I'm still going every day.
Yeah, yeah. Jamie was going to the shop after that. So we just had Michelle most of the time. But then when Jamie was home, and then we would have about 6 other kids in the neighborhood on there.
Yeah.
When I bought that wagon, there were 6 kids you were playing with that wagon. And you know what I did? I built
Don't
like a
forget
bridge.
Janice was there.
Remember the
Our
bridge?
two boys.
She had roller skates. Remember? And with the
Yeah.
roller skates, I built out of wood, like a
Yeah,
bridge.
a ramp.
You go over a ramp.
Yeah,
That's it. You
yeah.
go up the ramp,
Yeah.
and it would be about that much off the ground.
Yeah.
And you go flying in the air and then land on the skate.
Yeah,
And
all the
used-
kids in the
loved it.
neighborhood with
So
their
all the kids in the neighborhoods,
skateboards.
once they tried it, they wanted it back.
Yeah.
They would stay there for hours. I had to take it in to get rid of the kids. Yeah, so that was it. But anyway, I tell you the truth, I never regret leaving Brooklyn. And I love New York, I love Las Vegas, and I love being with the kids. I enjoyed my grandchildren immensely, and I showed it, and they knew it, and I felt good about it. That's it. What else could I tell you? Right, Lily?
Yes, yes.
Right. Especially her, she did. And we did it. We did everything with the car. We went all over. I'm sure there's another, I wish I should have wrote it down. I'm sure there's another 5, 6, 7 more things I could have said.
Well,
we
there's a
went to.
place we should take them a lot.
There was a place here in North Las Vegas, I
Yeah.
loved it. The sliding pile was about 3 stories high. Do you remember that?
The
In North Las
slides?
Vegas.
You mean the
on
water
Cheyenne.
slides?
No,
The water slides, right?
Not water, no, just sliding pile.
What about Chuck E. Cheese too?
Oh yeah, I took
Yes,
them Chuck E.
yes,
Cheese.
yes,
I do,
right.
well, listen. I told you, I'm sure there's a lot more. I just can't think of it.
Poppy, you know, the one thing that always, it's happy but it's sad at the same time, the one thing that always sticks with me is the day my brother was born,
Yeah,
you were the one who picked me up from school and told me he was born. And
but see, I don't remember that.
I remember because you came and I know my mom and you're like, your brother was born.
Right.
And you told me. And then the day my brother died, you were the one who called me
Oh,
and
yeah?
told me.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm the one. See, I
You
don't
told
even
me.
remember. I'm sure I wasn't even remembering it. I remember you when we heard about it, your mother came over. And,
You were the
that
one who
was
called
bad.
me to tell me.
Oh.
John always used to want to be
You
with
called
us.
me too.
I called you, John?
Yeah.
Yeah, see,
Yeah, you called us too.
yeah. I think it was a Sunday morning.
It was
Sunday
a
morning,
Sunday.
yeah, Sunday morning, yeah.
Jason called me first and said, you need to call your grandpa.
You know what we forgot? One more thing we forgot in the whole thing. It was a big experience. It was Nicky, John.
Oh, I
Nick,
remember
remember
that.
My cousin's son.
Now we'll discuss the mafia branch of the family.
Yeah, Nick.
We were trying to avoid this.
That was some experience.
What was the deal with that? Because I was little and I just remembered that
Right.
you had a controversial relative and then all of a sudden he was
Right.
dead.
He was,
Before his
you know,
wife
he was
murdered
very
him, he
likable.
came here.
If he was here, he was very likable. He could talk like
I think he
mad.
was hiding from them when he came.
I would
Oh
say
yeah, of
so.
course he was.
Yeah.
He left Dallas, Texas, to come here to get away from guys who wanted to. He pulled a rough deal with them. He hired somebody to burn his business down, and the guy's supposed to get like 20% of his insurance, and he didn't want to get it. He got about over $200,000.
But you would've liked him.
At that time, there was a lot of money, and he got that money, and he didn't want to pay him his money, his share. So before you know it, he just packed up and left Dallas and came here.
And
And
lived
where does
with
he
you.
come? Of all people,
He come in the
why
car.
is strange? I draw the crazy people. It's strange. It's strange. Really, I do.
But how long did he stay with you?
He came for just to look for a house, to buy a house. He wanted to move here. That's all. It's supposed to be maybe a week, 7
it's-
days.
yeah.
And he stood here 4 weeks.
I thought it was even longer than that.
No, about 4 weeks then.
Because then
He
we
was
had the
staying
fam-
long. He was
we had
staying
the
long.
first
and
family
He
reunion.
was staying long. He came to.
The second one.
His daughter came to visit him.
Yeah.
And he came with
But
his
didn't
daughter.
some men show up at the house looking for him?
No, but we were worried about it.
There was
No.
a car.
He slept in my house
all
with
the time.
with the blinds wide open, and
And then he bought that house up at the lakes and
Yeah.
never moved into it.
No, he
No,
fixed a
because
lot
they-
of.
he was-
Because he got
Johnny
murdered.
got stuck for the big bill. Johnny put in Venetian blinds, new flooring. He bought that house. He told him, I don't, because he knew Johnny was in the flooring business. He says, I don't want no flooring. I don't want no Venetian blinds. Johnny was selling Venetian blinds at that time. So he got all that stuff and never paid for it when he died.
And what was his name again? His full
Nicky.
name?
Nicky.
Nicky what?
How is he related to you?
He was my first cousin's son.
Nicky what? What was the last name?
He had a nice Italian name with an A, I forget. A nice Italian, very nice, pretty Italian name.
Yeah.
A long name, but I can't remember now.
Okay.
Nick,
Well, that's okay.
Amicelli, something like that, but it was a nice name.
And then he did wind up being assassinated.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he got shot in execution style, right?
At his
Yeah.
butcher shop, right? What,
We-
he
and,
butcher
well,
shop?
we know he had a bakery.
Bakery, that's
In the bathroom in the
'Cause they
bakery,
were
sitting
in the
down,
bakery
and
business.
sitting down on a stool, and boom.
And his wife was in on it, they say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
what we
I wouldn't be
Yes,
surprised. I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know. But she was weird anyway. She came here with to visit us, and she
Heidi was her name.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
You remember that?
I was little. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah, Heidi.
I just remember, didn't we go to his house?
Yeah,
after he got killed and.
because then we were going to pick stuff out.
Yeah,
of the
I
house.
remember
Yeah.
my parents
Yeah,
took
they
me.
took the youth beds for your kids. They took the, he
Come on,
bought-
Jamie, we're going.
he had about
Our
4
cousin
kids.
got killed. Let's go clean this house out.
Well, they owed your father the money for it. They already put the flooring in. They already put the Venetian blinds in. You know, so he didn't even pay for that. So we took some furniture, Johnny took some furniture out of it. And you know, it was all cheap shot, it was all falling apart. And they went to where he bought the furniture, where he bought the furniture.
Was it fantastic?
And they
furniture?
wanted they wanted to return some of his stuff. They had no record of it. He was such a crook. He was born a crook. He was born a schemer. I mean, as he's talking here, if he's going to figure, the first time he ever met you, he's in his head, how could I screw these people in some way?
Yeah.
How could I take money from them in some way? When he used to go to J&R Phone, always want to, never pay for nothing, always want to borrow money. I pay, never paid. Never paid for meals. Johnny paid for all his meals. Never. He was going to pay. And he loved it. He'd go there every day. He didn't know where to go. He wasn't working. Oh, he had a job. He got a job as a salesman serving the pizza places, all their cheeses and stuff like that. So from 11:30 to 1, he couldn't go to any of those places because they were busy. So he used to go to J&R Floor and hang out in there all the time. For
And
5
he
weeks.
came with a
He
gun.
came with a gun.
I said,
Yeah.
no way.
I forgot what I don't
I hid
remember the
it.
whole
We
story.
took the bullets out and I
Yeah.
hid the bullets in a different part of the, put it
Yeah.
up high.
And he had special
Not the
bullets
highest
that would rip
part
your
of,
inside out if he killed you.
Yeah. of
Oh yes,
the-
special
Yeah.
special bullets.
Very
Yeah.
thoughtful.
That's my,
No, but I emptied it.
But you know, he had
Bullets were
such
here
a
and
good,
the
he was such a
guns
good
were out.
storyteller. Tell you stories and he,
That he had to be.
and he went to college too. He was not a jackass, but he was.
And he had the radio on that all night.
Yeah. Oh, I
He's
used to get up.
afraid.
I used to start at 6 o'clock in the morning, so I had to get up early, right? So I go to bed 10 o'clock, and I want to be asleep. He used to sleep during the day, so at night he couldn't sleep, so he watched the television with the television on.
But he was
And now
worried about
12 o'clock, and I'm not sleeping, and I got to get up at 6. So one day I went there and I yelled at him like mad, screamed like mad. Okay, now we can come back.
Wait 1 second. Before we end, Dad or Louise, do you have anything you want to ask before we end, or we're gonna?
Oh, Louise.
Anything, last minute thing, something you wanted to hear that you didn't? My dad says you never threw him a birthday party. Is there any truth
No,
to that?
that is so full baloney. I bought him everything. And not only that, can I tell you something? I worked in the butcher shop on Fulton Street. Right across the street from the butcher shop was a 5 and dime store. Taladas was the name.
Taladas,
5 and
you know
dime.
Taladas.
I swear to God, my lunch hour, I was in that store, and all I did was buy things. They were 10 cents, but I bought them. I bought every day. I came home with something.
Yes, that's true.
Every day I come home with a little, even if it was a 10-cent thing, I came home every day for Johnny and for Louisa. I always bought them a load of soldiers for 10 cents. Every day I bought
So
something.
Louise doesn't seem to have any recollections of a birthday party either.
Oh, she's nuts.
We don't.
Maybe that's why
She's starting to believe, she's believing her brother Johnny. They had everything. We always had a cake special. I had to go miles out of the way to get a special cake. Oh no, that's later on. Especially we had
That was
Fulton
last
Street.
year.
Fulton Street, they had the best cake.
Yeah.
My dad also says he ate a lot of paint chips growing up. Is there any truth to that?
I never heard of that.
That's what he picked up from at the 5 and dime.
What the hell is patience?
He says he peeled paint off the wall and ate it.
No, my house was always in great shape.
terrible.
Between Mama and I, we were so
No, that's
clean.
true. I gotta say that.
We were so
that
clean.
house was
Forget
immaculate.
about it. We were clean.
So
And,
my
you know,
dad is
And I
fully,
made
you know
so many
what?
different things those days. I think of
She
the
didn't
things
work.
that
She
I-
was always cleaning, sickening, cleaning.
And I was helping his sisters out, especially
Right, she
girls.
was good.
She was on the 4th floor,
And
and
my-
she was afraid to wash the. She used to want to wash the windows, and she was starting, and she would go, Lily, Lily. I had to go out and paint, finish all the women, and that was high. It was 4th floor, but the buildings were old, and they were high.
My mother used to come up every day to sit. That was a rest period with Johnny in her lap. Because Johnny was so good. He would sleep so good, never moved. She couldn't hold Louise. Louise
Yeah.
was always shaking and stuff. Johnny don't sit there, and she would fall asleep, he would fall asleep, and they were happy. That
Of
was
your
a
two
risk.
children, which one is the better?
Yes,
There's
I'd
no
like to know
such
who's
thing.
the favorite.
I could just
Well,
tell you
I
which
love
was a
them
better
both.
sleeper.
I'm only
I
I
could
don't
tell you
know,
which
I
was a better
wasn't
sleeper. and
probably
that's-
not the best mother you could have, but I love my children too much.
I know.
I
Oh, you
did.
were the best.
And I never went without the other lady.
Johnny was, as a baby, you couldn't ask for better because he was
That
good.
means I'm the
He
best.
slept good. Louise,
Louise
1
never
o'clock in
wanted
the
to
morning, she
sleep.
still wasn't sleeping.
we bring
But
up
Louise,
Tom
nobody ate better than Louise. She was a good eater and she ate everything.
And
Him,
John,
he was-
that's
he
when
was
John only
lousy.
had paint chips left.
Yeah, that's why.
Louise ate all the real food.
Yeah, yeah.
What about, did you touch upon the bus fiasco?
The time you tried to throw your son John under the bus because he was
Oh man,
misbehaving.
that was fun.
That must have been a nightmare because I don't remember that.
Louise remembers it too. She was there, she caught me.
Well, when I interview you two, you can tell me all about that.
Yeah.
Never.
Poppy, one last thing, and then we're
What about the
done.
candle burning thing?
We already talked
We
about
did
that.
that, we got that already.
It sounds like you got your hard work ethic, and it's come through the family from your mother. That's what it sounds
Yeah,
like.
she was a hard worker. 9 kids, don't forget, and one was handicapped. My brother Anthony was handicapped, he was the last one. And she did,
mother.
and we had a house, we had a big round table, 11 people could sit on it. And only 10 sat on it because she never sat down. She served everybody else and brought the food, everybody else, put the food in the dishes and gave them the dishes, this and that. But she had we used to have that big dish like this with the macaroni in it. Big round dish, and we would serve it. Oh, she would take it and serve everybody with
Yeah.
the dishes. But she was a good cook, and she'd make meals. Well, her famous words was, "Eat plenty of bread," because we never.
Oh
had
yeah,
enough
my
food.
father used to tell us.
And we got the bread for free from her brothers who were in the bakery business. Every day they brought over 4 or 5 loaves of bread, and we never paid for it.
But Lily, your mother had it tough too because she
Oh,
had
yeah.
lost a child as well, and you
She
also
had a
had
handicap
your
too.
sister
sure.
Kathy who
And
was
my
not
father
well.
was really never there because he had left a fish store that he had with
Yeah.
his brothers and the nephews, and he found the nephews were stealing from the.
Well, he was a fish peddler. Get
Yeah.
to that. You don't need
Yeah,
that.
no, but that's
He was
how
a
it
fish
is.
peddler, so he had a truck, and in the summertime he would work till 7:30 until it got dark, trying
Yeah.
to sell fish. Then he belonged to a bocce club, and he loved bocce.
Oh, he was the best.
And he was the captain on their team.
Yeah.
And he would go there, and then, they would play cards and this and that. And he used to come home at 9:30, 10 o'clock a lot.
But you were both raised, like Jamie is suggesting, in an environment where the woman
The woman,
was really
yeah.
the most
the woman
important
did
person
everything.
in the house.
He was never home. He
Because-
used to cook. He used to come home 10 o'clock and want to eat.
Yeah.
You know?
So what do you think of today's families that are so much different when it
Oh,
comes to
Well, today's family is really different because to me, it was really family. I mean, your aunts, your uncles, you knew them all. My
They all lived
grandfather,
in the
my
same neighborhood,
grandfather.
that's why.
My father's mother was not the worst. Now I appreciate her, but she was always in black. She never took her black off. And my mother's mother too, but then my mother, my Aunt Mary, the younger woman, they made sure that they took it off. You know, that my
It was different. It
mother's
changed. Styles
mother
changed.
took her
Economy
after
got
6
better.
months, at least
Economy
6
got better.
months.
And everything.
Yeah.
But the mother, though, was the guiding
Oh,
force,
yeah,
the
yeah.
factor in the house
Well, you-
that maybe made
Did you
both
ever,
of you what you
let
are
me
today.
tell you
Yes,
something, maybe
yeah.
it's not nice for me to say, but did you ever picture a witch in front of you? I hate to say that, but she was always in black. Her
What are
hair
you
was,
talking about?
talking
My
about my
father's
grandmother.
Oh, okay.
Always in black,
But
didn't speak English that I know of. She always spoke to me in Italian, I never knew what the heck
and
she
she was
said.
always in church.
How come neither one of you speak Italian?
My parents-
My mother was born here. And my
Okay.
father was educated in Italy, but he picked up the Italian and English better than my mother did.
Yeah,
She was
he was
born here.
educated.
He spoke better English than she did.
Yeah.
And so we never had that problem. And the only time there was Italian was spoken in my house
When they didn't want
was
us to
when
know.
my aunts and uncles came over.
And they
if
didn't
they were
want us
talking
to
about
know.
somebody and they didn't want us to hear about it. Plus, we were never home. As 4 years old, I was out in the street playing all day long. I used to play stoop ball, punch ball, basketball, everything. I used to go skating at 4 years old. I was outside all day long. I lived in the streets. I came only to eat.
But everybody did in those days because
Yeah.
They all
first of
did.
all, you didn't have
First of
anything
all,
at home
I lived
to entertain you.
we had no toys, no nothing.
No
I lived on
TV.
a block where it was so big, a city block, really big, 5 times bigger than any city block around here. It was so big that we had gangs of kids, one side of the block, another gang on the other side of the block. We used to have big fights together. And I mean, that's how many, I'm talking about 40, 50 kids on each side. And that's a lot of kids that didn't even join the gang. So we were out there, we played punch ball out in the street, all the handball. We used to play against the houses, we had no handball courts.
Right.
We used to, and the neighbor, the landowner come out screaming and yelling. I got hit one time really bad. He hit me and I cursed at him and everything else. And he looked for me for about a month, tried to hit me, get back because I cursed at him. And I was playing ball. I used to get up 6 o'clock in the morning before I went to school. But I couldn't sleep for some reason. And I used to go outside, 6 o'clock in the morning, it was cooler in the summer. And I would play ball against his building.
Yeah,
and I
we
drove
used,
him
we
nuts.
used to do that.
I
too.
drove him nuts. He drove me. He finally got a hold of him. I don't blame him. I would have did the same thing to any kid. Imagine throwing a ball like on a wall like that.
Stoop. We used to play stoop ball.
The stoop ball play that was the big thing.
Yeah,
What
you-
is stoop ball?
Well, you know when you got a house, when you go to a city house, when you got the building and it's a 3-family house, 2-family, you have to climb up about
Right.
5 steps to get into the hallway. So you get the ball, you go by the curve. The curve was like from the stoop would be about 6 feet away, and you go on the street and you throw on the stoop, and it's if you try to hit the part where it's like this part. If you hit this part right here, the ball comes up in the air, and you would count 10 for that one, and if it just comes out like a ground ball, that's 5. And we used to count. I know how to tell the 5 times table at 3 years old.
Because of stoop
3 and a half,
ball.
goes to 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
Like that.
That's how we did
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Good.
They lived right there.
The girls played that too a lot of times.
Oh, yeah, we
And then
played
the girls used to play where the cement sidewalks, and you know, it would be like 5 by 5, and they used to put a nickel or a dime or a penny right here, and they would stand here and they would throw the ball, and if you hit the nickel or dime, you get a point, one, and then the 6 would win, because you could throw 10 times, it's never hit the penny. But when you hit it, at least the boys
And then
played
it
that
used
too.
to move, and it used
Yeah.
to move closer.
Yeah. When you hit it, you hear it, you hit, and you count it, and that's how you get the score. We used to play for pennies too, against each other.
Well, I think our interview is officially
Yeah,
over,
good.
but I'm gonna bring my video camera every time we're together.
Good.
Good job. Let's hear it for Lillian and
Thank
Frank Pacini. Yay.
Johnny, you want coffee?
No.
Okay,
He's
that's
hungry.
strange.
What?
too.
Now we gotta go eat, I'm
He's
starving.
gonna eat.
Yeah, I'm hungry.
He's gonna have